wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you why we always looking for more? Why we always looking for more? Been trying to change what I've been trying to say. Words don't come straight from my head to my mouth. It's such a shame that it fell out of place. Was never me that was bringing you down. Why we always looking for more? Why we always looking for more? Why we always looking for more? I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you why we always looking for more? Why we always looking for more?
Hello and welcome. Nice to be at your place wherever you're watching. Right around Australia, New Zealand, and indeed the world. It's a much bigger world than just Australia and New Zealand. But a very good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to you, wherever you are watching indeed around this great world of ours. It is round 4, the king of the ring here from Austria. It's the Red Bull Ring here this evening in the Adrenaline AGT season number 2, of course, here. And what a terrific circuit this one is. And it is a sprint round here this evening. Just recapping on our season so far. It was the Italian job which kicked this championship off on Friday the 2nd of May. And then it was, or maybe it wasn't, the Spanish Super Sprint, which was supposed to be the first of our sprint rounds in this championship season. That has been postponed, as you know, if you are regulars to the Adrenaline AGT series here on TrackSpotTV. That has been rescheduled to Friday the 4th of July. So that is breaking news on that one. Then it was the Silverstone Clash. That was last time out on the 23rd of May, and that was a terrific round 3 of the championship there at the home of British Motorsport. As we jumped straight into our drivers' standings. Before we do that, it's without further ado, I welcome my co-commentator this evening. How could I forget about him? The one, the only, Mr. AGT himself, Isaac Fogarty, is joining us here this evening. Very good evening to you, Isaac. And this circuit, the Red Bull Ring, one of your favourites here on ACC. As we just have some technical issues there with Isaac. He's just looking to get his microphone sorted. So what we might do is we might just go to a quick break, and we'll be back not only to introduce Isaac, of course, but to get into the first qualifying session here this evening. It will be 2 10-minute qualifying sessions followed by 2 30-minute races. We will be back in just a few moments. Stay with us, don't go anywhere. This is round 4 of this championship, about to get underway very, very shortly. Stay with us.
Been trying to change what I've been trying to say. Words don't come straight from my head to my mouth. It's such a shame that it fell out of place. Was never me.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, from that short interval. We are back. I can assure you we do have the one, the only Isaac Fogarty, as I mentioned, Mr. AGT himself with us alongside me in the commentary box tonight. And talking about this circuit here tonight, Isaac, it is one of your favourites here for round 4 of this championship.
Absolutely. Good evening, Trev. Good evening, everybody watching all around the world. The hills are about to be alive, not with the sound of music, but with the sound of wonderful GT3 cars as we go racing here in the wonderful Austrian countryside. It's one of my favourite circuits. Look, I could talk about this track for hours, and there's only 10 corners. There's not a lot of corners for the excitement to happen between, but just there's so many key zones for braking and just making moves around this track. It's so good for overtaking, and I'm very excited. 2 30-minute sprint races, Trev. It's going to be absolutely electric from start to finish.
Absolutely. Thank you, Isaac. We'll get to you, of course, throughout the evening as we get ready to get into qualifying. There are all the details on your screen as we go green for the first of 2 qualifying sessions here this evening. As you can see, 2 10-minute sessions, 2 30-minute races, pit stops not required, and the weather is fixed here this evening. And before we get out on to the circuit there, we'll just recap. There are your drivers' standings. You can see Matt Danetti leading in the Pro class. No Simon Bishop this evening. Then it is Senan Staley there and Adam Gray, CP and FR Racing Racing first and second in the Pro-Am class, and in the Am class, Ian Stewart, Matty Boyd and Wayne Turner, your top three. That is very tight, as you can see, only 9 points separating the top three there. As we get ready to get out on the circuit here this evening, we are going to jump out onto the track. Here we go as we see the cars coming out for the first time here this evening. It's short, sharp, it's fast, and boy, we're going to see plenty of action here tonight, Isaac, in, like I said at the top of the show, the first official sprint round here of this championship because, well, we didn't quite get underway in Spain, did we?
No, technical difficulties in not Austria, that's where we are now, in Spain, meant that we didn't quite get out on track for that first round, but as we mentioned before, that is postponed. So this is the first foray into the Super Sprint format for our drivers this evening. They have done a Super Sprint qualifying session. They've yet to do a Super Sprint race. So fingers crossed that it all goes well tonight and our drivers can get out for both races this evening. 75 points on offer if you do win a race this evening. As you mentioned, no Simon Bishop, and a little birdie has told me that Matt Zanetti and most of the BMW drivers actually struggling for pace this week. So I would not be surprised if we see someone else at the top of the leaderboard this week. Keep an eye on those Mustangs. Only 8 kilos of ballast in that car, Trev, compared to, I believe it's 24 for the BMW, but I will confirm that it's quite a lot for the BMW. So I will get those numbers to you. But yeah, it's going to be very exciting action this evening, very exciting racing.
Cannot wait for that. And could we see a new winner here in the Adrenaline AGT ACC Championship? We're only at round 4, of course, 10 rounds in this season. Of course, we have the first of the Enduros coming up, but we're going to keep that for a little bit later on. That is going to be fantastic, isn't it? Seeing these cars go at it, of course. But it is a sprint round here this evening around this A1 ring. It's not the A1 ring, is it? It's the Red Bull ring, and it used to be the A1 ring, and before that I think it was the Ostenreich ring. 10 corners, Isaac, as we take a look at Mr. Gordon here in the BMW. No, there he is, in fact. That is an Aston Martin 2, car number 25. Matty Simmons in the number 8 BMW, his sparring partner. Simon Bishop not with us here this evening as we see the first of our times coming in. A 29.432 for the Mercedes AMG car there, and the times are tumbling. We went straight out of the 29s into the 28s as we see coming through this 10 corners. Every car, I believe, Isaac, is out on the circuit now, and only 10 corners. Are you a man that counts turn 2 here or not? Are you one of those?
I do count turn 2. It's a very tricky corner, obviously, flat left-hander. So you want to make sure you get that one exactly right, because that's where all the lap time can be found around here, I'm told, Trev.
Absolutely. It's not much of a corner, but it's a corner anyway. And to Remus at turn 3, coming down to Schlossgold here, turns 4, 5 and 6. Important to get this middle part of the lap right here through turns 6 and 7. This is usually where the Orange Army's camped out, isn't it, Isaac? During the F1 race here, the Max Verstappen crew, not quite as many there. The Orange Flares here this afternoon, but we can see these times tumbling. And once again, just like that, we're almost halfway through this qualifying session. What times are we going to be seeing here, Isaac? Are we going to see 27s, or is it going to be early to mid 28s here this evening?
Look, in this session, I think we're going to see most drivers pushing towards a low 28, but I wouldn't be surprised if in qualifying 2 later on, with the slightly more favourable conditions, we see a 27. Matt Zanetti goes to the top with a 28.5, so puts 2.5 tenths on his nearest competitor. So the man I was talking about struggling for pace, as Bowen Piper, goes within a tenth. But the man I was talking about struggling for pace, 28.5 out of the gate. So look at how close that field is. Less than a second, or just over a second actually, separates the top 15 cars. And it's a short lap around here. As we mentioned, only 10 corners. A minute 28 is the fastest lap time at the moment. So not a huge amount of time and a huge amount of track for there to be a big difference in lap time. So we will naturally see the lap times be closer together than we would at a longer circuit, say for example Spa or Silverstone. But in saying that, it's really cool to see so many cars close together, and that's Sheepers now. Sheepers going within 100th of Matt Dinetti's qualifying time. That's a Pro-Am car, Trev. So that's a Pro-Am driver, the 22 Mercedes driver. This is his first race back for Season 2. Obviously a prominent feature in Season 1. And we've got multiple cars within a tenth of each other now, which is really exciting. This battle for pole is going to go right down to the wire.
This certainly is. You can feel the energy out there on the circuit as Sheepers creepers. That is a terrific time there. As you can see, only, well, a tenth of a tenth, if you know what I'm trying to say, off of the provisional pole position time from Matt Dinetti, of course, at CP Motorsports, car number 51. Beautiful looking BMW M4 GT3. Hello, Isaac. What's this? We've got a new time. P1, Matthew Simmons, a 28.475. Put that man out because he's on fire here. That's a very almost extraterrestrial time with 3.5 remaining in this session.
Absolutely, and I will make note to the audience there, your absolute love of Matt Simmons. I know how much you talk about this, how fond you are of this man, and it's absolutely understandable because look at him. This is his first week as well. He's just bought himself a new Logitech G Pro racing wheel, so this is his first round of AGT on a direct drive wheel. And I know there was quite a few drivers shaking in their boots at the prospect of a man who was already incredibly quick being even faster behind a direct drive wheel. So he's putting that pace to use early on here, but James Machin giving him a run for his money, only 200ths off his lap time at the moment, and we've still got 2 minutes, just under 3 minutes actually, left in this session, and the times continue to tumble. It's now the top 17 cars separated by less than a second, Trev.
This is incredible. These times, as you said, a shorter circuit, of course, just the 10 corners, but Matthew Simmons with that new direct drive wheel. It's like ice cream, isn't it? It's good enough on its own, but then you add some nuts and topping to it, Isaac, and it just gets even better, and that's happening with Matthew Simmons. Very strange analogy there, a strange comparison, but no, he's sitting pretty there at the moment. But this track, does it have a tendency to rubber in? We can see those marbles off the racing line here. Another thing that's going to be important for these drivers coming up to their final qualifying runs in the last couple of minutes of this first qualifying session, it's got to be finding track position. It's going to be difficult with 35 plus cars out there potentially, Isaac, to find some clear air here and some breathing room and breathing space for their final quali laps.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure what the exact count is on the car count is in the final numbers. We knew we were expecting about 35 or 36. However, this is a 4.3 kilometre circuit, so you can see we've got 36 cars out there on the track at the moment. That's less than 100 metres of real estate per car. So there's not a lot of room out there, Trevor, at the moment. We've pretty much got, if you put every single car out there 100 metres apart, or within, 100 metres apart, you've essentially got, what, less than a kilometre to spare? So there's not a lot of room for our drivers to find their own bit of real estate, and that's going to be crucial. You can see coming through the final sector now, there's only one car and then so much room either side of him. I'm trying to see what number that is. But that driver, 16, so that's Elzine, that's Adam Elzine in the Porsche. He's very quick around here, and he's going to use that clear air to his advantage because he's got no one around him, and we've got 54 seconds left in this qualifying session, so he gets a very clean run for the entire lap, and that will, hopefully, if he can get this lap right, vault him up the order.
Absolutely, he's got the whole of turns 1, turns 2 and 3. Isaac knows my feelings about turn 2, running slightly wide there into the Remus corner. I can't recall, Isaac, a session where 21, 22 cars are covered by less than a second. It's incredible, isn't it, how close they are around this circuit. As we said, only the 10 corners. As we go down into Sloss Gold, he's going to go close here. It's only 2/10 of a second, Isaac, and this poor man is in P7. That's how tight it is.
Yeah, it's super tight. You can see we're now over 20 cars within a second of each other, which is absolutely insane. I cannot believe how many cars we have so close. We were talking about, before we went live with the broadcast, we were talking about the prospect of how many cars were actually going to be close. I was regaling you with stories of earlier in the week we had races and qualifying sessions where was a bunch of cars within 4/10. I did not expect 20 plus cars to be within a second of each other. Matt Simmons holds pole position currently, Braden Henderson in second. What can Elzine do as he crosses the line? Can he vault himself up the order? He's P8 at the moment. He stays P8, so cannot improve. Have we got anyone else on a lap at the moment, I wonder?
Matt Simmons comes across the line. I think, has he gone better at 28.422? James Matchin is in the pits. So is this man, Struick. Let's have a look here. Geesh, can he improve on this lap? The time is ticking away. About half a dozen drivers on their final qualifying run here. Beautiful looking Ford. There's something simple and beautiful about that livery all at the same time. Through the final corner, through turn 10 we go. Just less than 0.2 of a second. Can he improve? No, he comes across the line. Here comes Mr. Piper in the Mercedes AMG. Can he improve, Isaac, around the final couple of corners here?
Big power slide through the final corner. That's going to cost him. I think he was up at that stage, but that will cost him a couple tenths there. And you can see he's rolled out of it now, so he knows he's not going to improve, and he just strolls across the finish line. But that looks like that is our session done and dusted. 25 cars, all within about 26 cars, you could even argue, all within about a second of each other, which is absolutely insane. I cannot state that enough. That is a crazy number. We look at the top 4 cars all within a tenth, the top 12 cars within half a second, and then you have to go back to 25th, sorry, before you find a car that is outside a second of that pole time. That is absolutely crazy.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. Well, we've seen it tonight. And anything is possible, of course, in this Adrenaline GT Championship here on ACC. Season number 2. Season 1 was incredible, was amazing, wasn't it? I was just a spectator for that one, Isaac. I had no idea that I'd be alongside yourself talking about it here for Season 2. But I'm glad I'm here alongside you, because we're at round 4. King of the Ring. Who is going to be King of the Ring tonight? Well, Matty Simmons putting his best foot forward there with a 28.422, as you saw, to take provisional pole position. The timing charts, that's a bit rough, isn't it, Isaac? We're just getting ready to go through those times, but there they are on your screen. And a great result for this man, one of the newer faces we're seeing here in this championship, Isaac. A great effort there to get that car up into P5 overall, and third row of the grid for him, for Sheepers here this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw a lot of Sheepers. Viewers will know from last season running in the pro category. He's dropped back to Pro-Am, missed the first few rounds this season being away for work. He's come back. He was ready to race. He was very excited to get behind the wheel of the Mercedes. Wasn't quite comfortable with it at the start of the week, but he's found his groove with it, and he's making that clear with that P5 position. I've also... between sessions, I get drivers sending me a lot of different data to gain, to talk about during the race, and different things that I can use to bring you at home, the viewers at home, more information as we go on. And one of those pieces of data I've been sent is from one James Machin, who has pointed out that he invalidated his fastest lap. He was 0.3 up. It was good enough for pole. It was a 28.1. So he's sitting 4th at the moment, and he did a 28.1, which would have been plenty fast enough to put him on pole. And it would have put a big gap on the rest of the field as well, actually, because he was within a 10th of Matt Simmons. So that is an absolutely crazy lap, but the track limits around here have bitten him, which does bring an interesting point, I should say, Trev, in track limits. We're going to see a lot of that this race. And drive-throughs around here are going to be crucial. You do not want to get a drive-through. You lose 30% of your lap, 27 seconds of lap time just driving through the pit lane. So it's going to be something you want to avoid. Absolutely.
As we see, we're starting the countdown. You talked about the drivers. We mentioned this circuit. We talked on the top of our show. One of your favourites here, Isaac. We see the Slosgold corner there. The middle part of the lap, turns 5 and 6. It's short, sharp, but it's a great circuit, isn't it? And provides plenty of entertainment from our point of view up here in the commentary box.
Yeah, it's one of the more exciting circuits around here. That turn, especially at this race start, turn 1 is going to be very important. But so is, and I can't say turn 2 because turn 2 is not really a corner if you look at it. Looking at that shot just there on the screen, turn 3 Remus is going to be where the action happens. Turn 1. You want to watch for the sausage curb on the inside. You can see on your screen there, massive yellow sausage curb. Do not clip that. I made that mistake earlier in the week cutting laps. We did a practice race, used way too much curb, launched my car onto the outside of the circuit, and I was well off and well at the back of the field after the start of the race. But turn 3 is where all the action happens. It's a heavy braking zone, very deep into the corner. A lot of cars have a lot of weight in them. The BMW especially has 28 kilos, so it's going to take a lot longer to pull up in that corner. So it's about drivers being aware of who's around them, what tips and cars around them, who's braking late, who's going for a move. So we're going to see a lot of drivers testing their spatial awareness coming into that turn 3 for the first time.
Absolutely beautiful shot there of this circuit as we get ready to get underway here in race 1. As you can see, the drivers are out there on their formation lap. What's going through the mind of all of these drivers? 36 of them, I think. We've got the final count there. We're a little bit nervous given their first official second attempt at it, isn't it, Isaac? The sprint round. We tried to go to Barcelona, but they didn't want us in Barcelona when we had the last time we tried to do this sprint business. But what's going through the drivers' heads at the moment on this formation lap? Are they working to a plan? Is it very clinical just to try and get those tyres, brakes, everything up to the right temperature before the start of the race?
I think so. They have a long time around here. It's a long lap. You're doing about 80 k's an hour, so it takes you about 2 or 3 minutes to actually get around the circuit too. So you have a lot of time to think about it. The first phase of the lap, some drivers will put a bit of heat in their tyres, a little bit of temperature in their brakes. Then they'll just sit there, breathe, get their mind right. They know this is going to be a hectic race start, especially at this circuit with the nature of how it's designed, especially that first sector. So it's a lot of just mentally preparing yourself, looking who's in front of me, who's behind me, who's going to be next to me. They'll get to the point here where they enter the last sector. They'll do their final sort of weave. You can see Matt Simmons there getting a little bit more temperature, scrubbing the tyre across the circuit. That's not only to get temperature, but also just take a bit of shine off the tyres. These are all new tyres for our drivers, and then they all split off. You can see them now forming up into a grid formation, ready to be in position for when this race starts. So they're now in the final phase of this race start. They'll be starting to calm themselves, focus on their speed. Once they get onto the front straight, a speed limiter will appear. They'll have to hold it at 70 k's an hour. So now it just becomes all eyes forward and locked in. So focus is the key at this race start.
Absolutely. The thoughts of the one and only Isaac Fogarty here this evening. Round 4 of this championship. First official sprint round, king of the ring, about to get underway. Matty Simmons getting his tyres right, new direct drive wheel for him as well, so keep an eye out for that. Our championship leader there, not too far behind him either, along with James Matchett, who was almost good enough for pole position. Could have, would have, should have. Story of my life as we go green. And racing here for the opening race of 2 here this evening. And Matt Simmons, has he lost the lead going into turn 1? I think he has, as Henderson goes down the inside of the Mercedes AMG car. And what about our championship leader, Matt Donetti? Not too far behind them here, but it looks like Matty Simmons has got back into the lead as we approach turn 3, and everybody has got away cleanly. There's a car at the back. We'll get to that in just a few moments, but a very clean start here. But it looks like Henderson putting the pressure on Matt Simmons in his first race of this championship, Isaac.
Yeah, it was a very good start for Henderson, but he didn't get a great drive out of the first corner, and now you can see him trying to size up Matt Donetti. That 28 kilos of ballast in the BMW is not playing him any favours, especially when the Mercedes has nowhere near that much, only 10 kilos of ballast on board. So an 18 kilo difference in the cars. That was, we had a massive incident at the back here. Cars are everywhere. That looks like a Mercedes around a Ferrari in the wall as well. That looks huge. And I was about to say everyone got off to a really good, really clean start, but it seems that those words have come back to bite me before I've even said them. Trev, because we've got cars all over the circuit. That was Josh Green at the back earlier as well. He had a pit lane start for missing the start. We've already got a car back in the lane as well with heavy damage.
Absolutely. Car number 5 looks like DeWitt there. There he is in the pit lane. We see the leaders come through. Very short lap like we keep talking about. And there was absolute carnage. All I could see was yellow on the track map, Isaac. That just, you can see some big damage here for one of the big players there. It looks like Holton there with huge damage to the front of that 98 BMW car, and he's coming into the lane. No surprises there.
Yeah, no, that definitely is not a car that is okay to continue. He was up the front of the field as well. From memory, he qualified towards the front, so something has happened. And it's just a concertina effect, especially around here with so many cars on the grid. 36 cars on the grid in today's race. Once 1 or 2 cars are involved, if you don't quite have the reaction time to get out of the way, then you're going to get caught up. Someone's going to make contact with someone else, and it's just a concertina effect, and a lot of cars have gotten caught up. So they'll get back into the pits, repair that damage, and they'll push on. But so we've got 4 cars in the lane now, plus Jaden DeWitt, who's also technically in the lane, just doesn't register him as in the lane. That's throwing a yellow flag as well, so that'll be a bit of a off-putting. But that's Braden Henderson back up in the lead, and Matt Dinetti getting by Matt Simmons as well. So that's Matt Simmons has lost 2 places on this lap, and he now drops back down to 3rd and looks under pressure from James Machen, who's sizing him up into turn 9, and he's lost that position as well. So Matt Simmons has gone from the lead of this race to 4th place in the span of about 3 corners.
This is incredible. James Machen getting by. I think he's made the move. Yes, he has. James Machen, what do we call him? Our moral pole sitter has gone past the man who actually took pole position, Isaac, in Matt Simmons, and he is dropping down the field. I tell you what, it pains me to say it, but was he just caught napping there last time out as he looks to make some moves on Machen, but he's not going to get through there, or is he? Yes, he is, and he's back up into 3rd position. But boy, oh boy, he is a sitting duck here potentially, Isaac, coming down into the Schlossgold corner.
Yeah, again, we come back to that ballast, 20 kilos of difference between the Mustang and the BMW, and the Mustang already has great straight line speed. It was brilliant spatial awareness and just awareness in general from Machen to open the steering a bit to allow Matt Simmons to get up the inside, because he knew that he could get the better exit at Machen and get the run down towards turn 4, and he did just that, but wasn't able to make it stick through there. They got very close yet again. Matt Simmons is a very smart racer. This man has done quite a lot of racing, both in real life and virtual, over the years. So he knew exactly where to position that car to make Machen have to try and go the long way around, and he couldn't make it stick. And you can see Josh Struick, also known as Distinct G, sitting in behind in 5th, ready to size up a move on these guys. He has a lot of history with these fellas. They race in AusNZ together, which you would know these fellas quite well, Trev, and they've got a lot of history both on and off the track, so they know how each other thinks in this situation. They're just trying to bide their time and try and maybe psych each other out.
Absolutely. As you can see, they continue here. Matty Simmons, let's see what else is happening. Liam Tame there, a good friend of mine, in car number 56, the BMW. And you can see him there. He's got a bit on his plate here at the moment, young Liam, as you can see. Through turn 3 he goes. He's got Mr. Fleming there right behind him, applying all sorts of pressure, and Liam is looking to stay well and truly inside that top 10 here this evening. Hopefully the comments didn't get back to him, Isaac, from a couple of weeks ago, but he knows everybody, and you can see here Fleming, and then M. Silver, Mr. Silver, not too far behind him, and then the first of the Ferraris. It's incredible, isn't it? The Ferrari's not doing too well around this circuit here this week.
Yeah, well, that's a contradict to what we'd seen in practice. Trev, the data showed that the Ferrari's actually going to be quite quick. They've actually got the least amount of fuel on board this car as well, so they're technically the lightest car in terms of fuel load, only 51 litres on board. They're also quite light. They've got minus 20 kilos of ballast, so I expected this car to be fairly quick around here. And it's just not been the case on race day. It's just not translated, whether that's setup-wise or just other drivers have found time in different spaces to just outperform the Ferrari. But it is struggling at the moment. Hopefully it can continue to get up the order. And he's doing quite well at the moment, is Bruce Quadrille. This is his first race of the season. Another one of those drivers that's just not been able to make the first few rounds so far, which actually works in his favour, having missed round 2. So those drivers that we haven't seen yet this season, so Matt Simmons, Bruce Quadrille, even Distinct Jeesh, missing a whole round so far works in their favour because we've only had 2 rounds of racing, which means that the championship is still very alive if they can pull off some good results.
Absolutely. Quadrille there for Cactus Racing 2. His teammate of the Pro-Am class, of course, Jaden DeWitt. We saw him come into the pit lane, didn't we, very early in this race. We've only travelled 7 minutes of the allocated 30-minute time in the first of the 2 sprint races here this evening. If you're thinking of going off and making a cup of tea, well, you haven't got much time because straight after this, love that camera angle too, look at that. Straight after this, we've got another qualifying session. Bam, crash, wham, straight back into the action, followed by another 30-minute race as we continue to go down the order. As you can see here, Mr. Sheepers in the 22 Mercedes AMG car. A little bit disappointing. He's very much in a bit of a train here. I was about to say a DRS train. We don't have DRS, of course, here. But Andre Sheepers for Defy Motorsport 2. Well, considering where he qualified, Isaac, it's been a bit of a rough start for him, hasn't it, in the opening few laps of this race?
Yeah, I think he got his ears boxed at the start of the race and he just continued to fall down the field. These guys had their elbows out early and it was a nice little welcome back to AGT for Andre. But he's found his rhythm now. He's settled back in behind Riley Nicholson, who's one of our key contenders at the moment in the Pro-Am Championship. He's going side by side with a damaged Nick Carter in the 711 Mustang. So he's been caught up in an incident at some point as well. And now Sheepers is going to invite himself into this battle. We might have 3 wide, but Riley Nicholson has cleared the 711 Mustang. And now it's just Sheepers looking down the inside on the run to turn 4. Can he make the move stick? We've got Riley parking the bus, and he's going to have a look up the inside of Riley now as well. Pushes him wide, lightly onto the gravel, gets the move stuck and done. Adam Gray up the inside of Nick Carter as well. So Nick Carter's lost 4 positions there, and it just shows how a compromise line for one corner, Trevor, around here can cost you so many places.
Absolutely. It doesn't matter whether you're Matt Simmons or whatever your name is. If you get it wrong, short a lap, of course, it can really come back to bite you here. Stacked field of cars right down to Mr. Holton there in P36. Well and truly out of position, but if there's something positive to take out of it, Isaac, he looks to have the damage well and truly fixed on that car. But wow, it's a shorter race. So what can you get out? What can he get out of this race here in the next 20 minutes? Is it just getting that time out on the circuit, potentially picking up some valuable points? If something happens, it's just a matter of staying out there and hoping for the best.
And look, I think for him, it's just going to be about getting to the end of this race. You do get points for finishing down in 36. It's actually the last points paying place. You get 1 point. So 1 point could be the difference between a championship and not a championship for CP Motorsport. So he'll run all the way to the end. He's not too far behind Jaden DeWitt, actually, in the number 5 Ferrari. So there is a potential for him to gain a position there up into 35th place, get himself a whopping 2 points. But keep in mind, there is another race after this, so we do this all over again. So it's not the be-all and end-all. You're going to lose points in this race. Use this time to learn the track more, get a bit more mileage under your belt, build your lap times, learn where the lines are, and then you can go again in qualifying 2 and race 2 to potentially get yourself further up the order.
Absolutely, and we keep saying there, stick around because the action's not done following this race. But let's have a look here. Car number 79 in the AM class, Fogarty Motorsport Junior, and Matty Boyd, and that is a very, very damaged BMW M4 GT3. They finished in 13th, I believe, wasn't it, in season 1. But he is continuing on here, Isaac. Is that a good decision? Or I guess the amount of time you lose here, it can be quite taxing on your overall race time. And it's the same with penalties as well. You lose about 30% of your lap, don't you, with a drive-through, and even more for a stop-go penalty, but he's continuing on here in the AM class, sitting in a podium position. He doesn't want to lose out, does he? So he's continuing on despite the damage on that McDonald's car.
Yeah, and I think that's a smart call. He's got his teammate behind him, but there's a bit of a gap between the two of them. So he knows he's got space to the car back behind him at this stage, who's actually coming on the threat at the moment from one of the Ferraris. I don't know if that's actually Bob Norley in behind him. I believe that's actually potentially Andrew Griffin in the number 43 Ferrari as he goes by. Does let him by, so well done, Bob Norley, we just saw on screen there. But yeah, I think he's doing a great job at the moment. Slight front end damage, obviously, to that BMW. Not affecting him too much. He is able to push on. Look at it flapping just like that. I don't think he's, as they would say, McLovin life, but he is turning the wheel out there. He's getting laps in under his belt, and as you mentioned, 13th last season. They're sitting 15th currently in the point standings this season, so every single point is crucial for this Fogarty Motorsport Junior team, and he'll know that. But he's also thinking about that Drivers' Championship. As we said, 9 points is the gap between the top three. He's sitting in fourth at the moment, and only so he is actually second, sorry, and he's 9 points back on Wayne Tanner, and who's currently leading the race. So for the M class, so all points are crucial. But we've got another car in the lane. This is James Barton in the lane.
Absolutely, here comes James Barton, car number 91, also very damaged. We won't watch him and his invisible pit crew, will we, Isaac? Because that's a little bit boring for people watching at home. But look at this, Mr. Burrows in the Mustang, still in the train. He's sandwiched between Sandwith and Tanner there in car number 97. He's a little bit further back from him, 1.9 seconds in fact. Mr. Burrows there continuing to keep. Let's have a look back at the front though. People are asking what on earth is happening here at the business end. It is Henderson there leading this race. Car number 877, Mercedes AMG there, as we've only got, we've done 8 laps in this race. 16.5 minutes remaining, approaching half race distance here for this opening race here of round 4, season 2. King of the Ring, who will be the king here this evening? Matt Zanetti. Ooh, he is cutting that gap ever so slightly. It is Geesh there, Struick with the fastest lap from P4. But when are we looking? We're thinking here, when will Matt Zanetti, of course, strike? No mandatory stops, is there, here tonight, Isaac, in these sprint rounds, of course, out of the 2 races. And that gap, he's holding steady. Is he just keeping something back to come at Henderson with here later in the race, potentially, in the back end?
Yeah, that gap is ebbing and flowing a little bit. Henderson pulls out a bit of a gap, and then Matt Zanetti reels it back in. It's just moving back and forth between the two at the moment, sitting at about a second. James Machin found he's sitting in third, with Struick not too far behind. As you mentioned, he has the fastest lap of the race. So those 2 Mustangs, I don't think will catch up to this group because they'll spend most of their time battling away. Matt Simmons, he's dropped off even more, so he's dropped down to 5th now from the pole position. But he's doing a good job. He's keeping in touch with this group. He's also got Adam Elzine in the Porsche riding behind him. I just think Matt Simmons potentially struggling with the weight of that car a little bit, as all the BMW drivers are. You can see we've got Matt Zanetti and Matt Simmons up the pointy end, but there's a lot of newer names, newer faces up the pointy end of the field at the moment, and I'm really liking the fact that we're seeing more names up there, Trev, because it's great for these drivers to get a bit of a confidence boost that they do have the pace to keep up with some of these guys at the front, because for the most part this season so far, it's been the Matt Zanetti and Simon Bishop show.
Yeah, it certainly has, as we see. Is this a cheeky... Oh, contact there. The Mercedes of Mr. Piper there, you can see car number 81. Has he got that back? Pointing in the right direction, I believe he has, and that is disastrous there for the Mercedes AMG car. Did he just, Bowen Piper there it was, wasn't it? Defy Motorsport, he just went in too hot into turn 1 there, made some contact, and before you know it, Isaac, you're pointing in the right direction and you're seeing the rest of the field go past you.
It's super tricky to get a move right through there, and we saw him just come a little bit unstuck, facing the wrong way. Obviously the stewards will probably sit down and have a proper look at that one and make a decision on what has to happen with that car, but he was doing really well, and it was just a very bold move. And as you said, yeah, there's a fine line between going into a corner, being able to make an overtake, and then seeing the rest of the field come by as you're facing the wrong direction. So we've got Josh Green in the pit lane now as well. So he's come in potentially for some damage repair. So we've got a few cars that are suffering at the moment with damage issues. Cars, again, it's a huge field, 36 cars in this field, and there's not a lot of breathing room for a lot of our drivers. Most cars actually within a second of each other, or within a second of somebody at the moment, and there's no time for you to breathe, no time for you to think, who's that? That is Bob Norley having a little bit of a look up the inside of a Ferrari. He was getting racy in the final corner, and Braden Henderson, again, that gap just closes up into about 8/10 and then moves back out to a second. So these two, Braden Henderson and Matt Zanetti, going toe to toe at the moment, just ebbing and flowing that gap. Matt Simmons back past Josh Struick, up into 4th place, so that is a key move. And they've dropped off the back of James Machin, so James Machin has a little bit of breathing room now, Trev, which is probably crucial for him to now try and close back up to the 2 cars in front.
Absolutely, you can see it's 2.1 between James Machin and, of course, Matt Zanetti, but this is a man who flicked you. We must have a lot of Jameses messaging us. I had James Barton messaging me, telling me he was in P16, which was fantastic, as there we go, also known as Jimbo, of course. Number 91, of course, in the Ferrari further down the field. It's good that these boys like to flick us a message, isn't it, Isaac, when we're working in the commentary box and just letting us know that, hey, we're here. And in James Barton's case, I'm in P16 in the Ferrari. That is fantastic. But just like that, we only have 12 minutes remaining in race 1 here this evening. And we saw how close it was in qualifying, and I'm pleased to say that that has stayed for the most part reasonably close for the race. As you can see there is Geesh or Struick there in P5, P6. Any standouts for you, Mr. Liam Tame there in P8? As you can see there, he's doing quite well. Any standouts from the new boys, the rookies we might call them here, Isaac? Who's really stood out for you so far in race 1?
Oh, look, I think Braden Henderson can't go without mentioning. It's his first week in pro. He was very uneasy about being put up into the pro category, and he's leading the race at the moment with a second to Matt Zanetti, so he's doing a great job. And then Josh Struick, I mean, distinct Geesh, what else can we say about him? We knew he'd be fast coming in. He's just come off the back of winning the Paul Ricard Enduro for AusNZ, so he is a fresh race winner. He knows what it takes to be fast in this game, so I was not expecting anything less from him, if I'll be completely honest. Nathan Hutton as well in the 47 Mercedes, down in 14th place. This is his first week. It was only a last-minute call-up today. Has a lot of history and experience in this game, very well known to a lot of the drivers in this field, but didn't really know where his pace would be at. He is on controller, but he's doing an absolutely brilliant job at the moment in 14th place.
Absolutely, and you've got to give that respect to the controller users, of course, as we see another little battle here. Was that Sheepers down the inside? Might have been on a lap car there, but let's have a look at the Mustang car, number 57. It is close right throughout the field, and there's also some big pro names there that aren't really at the pointy end. I say that with the greatest of respect, but Mr. Hurley here, as you can see, is one of those names in the Aston Martin here. And let's have a look. As you can see, the battle continues, just 4/10 between him and Lee here this evening. As the race continues there, still plenty to play for in each of the classes. We know in the AM class championship as well how close it is, almost contact there. How close was that? And these guys are professionals, of course. They know what they're doing. And a drive-through penalty has been cleared as well for car number 5. And we spoke about the loss around this circuit from a drive-through penalty. It's something like 27 seconds, I think, around this circuit, isn't it, Isaac? So a big, big penalty around the shorter track.
Yeah, 27 seconds around here. It's 30% of the lap, so it's huge. Like, it's going to cost you so much time just to do a drive-through. So you do not want to be exceeding those track limits more than 3 times, because the in-game stewards will give you a slap for that. So there'll be a lot of drivers that I wouldn't be surprised if there's plenty of drivers actually that are on their third warning already. With 8 minutes to go, we may see some more drive-throughs before this race is over. And then it's about getting your drive-through entry right, because if you get that wrong, you speed into the pit lane, that's a 30-second stop go, and that's 63% of your lap. So then you lose well over 100% of your lap. That's an entire lap down that you now are on the rest of the field.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a double whammy, isn't it? You don't want to be speeding into the pit lane for your drive-through penalty. Otherwise, you cop it on both counts. As we see lap 14, battles continuing right throughout the field. But lap 14 of this race, this man, Brayden Henderson, doing beautifully here this evening. Matt Zanetti, our championship leader, not too far behind him. We heard it from the man alongside me, Isaac Fogarty. Every championship point counts. Of course, come the end of the season. Only the 10 rounds, of course, in this championship. And it's getting very close here, Isaac. You can see the drivers. Track limits, also a very big talking point across multiple categories here at this circuit. But, oh, Matt Zanetti, I tell you what, Brayden Henderson, he's got to have nerves of steel and be calm as a cucumber. I think they're also cool as well, but that's exactly what Mr. Henderson's got to be. Brayden Henderson under all sorts of pressure as it's down to half a second through turn one.
Yeah, this Brayden Henderson is someone that's been referred to in the last couple of weeks as the new Matt Zanetti. He came in as a Pro-Am driver and scored 120 points, finishing in the top 5 last time out at Silverstone. Immediately, the term was thrown around, the new Matt Zanetti. Obviously, Matt Zanetti very famously was Pro-Am last season, competing for race wins with Simon Bishop, especially towards the end of the season, and everyone said he probably shouldn't be a Pro-Am driver. Now he's absolutely performing incredibly well in the Pro category. And so Brayden Henderson's made the step up to Pro for this round, and he's doing the exact same thing. We're seeing what we saw with Matt Zanetti, and now these two are the guys that are leading the way. The torch is being passed, I guess you could say. There's people like Matt Simmons and Simon Bishop who are so quick and just absolutely dominating this series in races gone by. And we've got these guys that are now stepping up to their level and performing, and it's creating this extra challenge, and they're all loving it. And it's great to see because they're just having so much fun doing these races. Even Adam Elzine down in 6th place, he is, I believe, 13 years old. So still quite young, still a lot of experience ahead of him in both racing and in life in general. But he's doing an amazing job just to be in 6th place with some of these guys that have been racing for years and years.
It's incredible, isn't it? Not quite, don't think I'm quite ready for Matty Simmons to pass the torch, or Simon Bishop. Don't scare me like that, Isaac, on a Friday evening. But no, that is incredible. What was I doing at 13? Well, I was probably lining up at EB Games or something for the midnight release of the PlayStation 2. That's how old I am. And Grand Theft Auto as well. Boy, that was groundbreaking, Isaac. You probably weren't born just then. But no, we have, what do we got here? Let's recap, Isaac, here for the viewers at home. Less than 6 minutes left in this race. Oh, boy. And it's still up for grabs, not just in the Pro class, but also in the Pro-Am class, as Mr. Staley getting a little bit out of shape there through turn 3, but he's all over the back of Silver here in the AMG car. Look how close it is. It's up for grabs wherever you look, Isaac, in the final half a dozen minutes or so.
Oh, it's on for young. It's on for, well, I would say young and old, but it's young and young. These two, both quite young gentlemen going at it for the lead of the Pro-Am class. Max Silver, things have not gone his way so far this season. Sits down the order in the points in 22nd place. So he's looking for a fight back, his first class win and his first top 10 of the season. He's got Shannon Staley, the points leader in the Pro-Am, right behind him. Not keen to lose too many points to the Pro-Am guys around him. Adam Joy as well, currently inside the top 10, sitting 3rd in class. Doing a wonderful job, but he's got Liam Tame right in behind him for company. And then I believe Wayne Tanner is still leading the way in the AM class as well. So we've got some big names up and down the field leading the way in their respective classes. This battle is about as close as the battle for the lead of the race, Trev. 3/10 separate these guys as they come across the line. We've still got 4 minutes of racing. Shannon is not going to let Max get away in front of him.
Absolutely not. CP Racing for Shannon Staley, car number 63, the Pro-Am class. What is happening? not quite as exciting. It is for this man, Tanner, in car number 97. And he's got a bit more of a gap, about half a dozen seconds or so back to this man, our leader in the AM class, I believe, car number 95. And you can see there he is continuing on now as we take a look at pit stop action for Takax there in the McDonald's Fogarty car. And you can see car number 24 there in the pit lane, but big names, including this man for CP Motorsports here, Aidan Holton, well down the field overall, so disappointing for him in race one. But the beauty of the sprint rounds, Isaac, is you can take your result, can't you, in race one and try and turn it around in the second qualifying session and the second race as well here.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, yeah, one bad race, especially the sprint round, doesn't define you. It doesn't define you in general, but these guys, they have one, if they have a tough race, they can go again, reset. And as you said, that is the beauty of the sprint round. That's why I'm a big advocate for these sprint rounds. I absolutely love them because you see different people at the top. You might see someone pushing really hard in this race, and then they might not have as much speed in the next race. There's talk of limited tyre sets being introduced, so maybe you go for a fresh set of tyres for one race and then you have to use a scrub set of tyres for the next race. That's something that might have to play in future sprint rounds. We don't know. It's opening up those strategies and those sorts of ideas, but that gap is closing at the front. The gap has sort of stayed the same between Max Silver and Sandon Staley for the lead of the Pro-Am class, but it's starting to close up. It was about a second just a few laps ago, and now it's 6/10, Trev. So as we get to 2 minutes to go in this race, they're starting to converge on each other.
They certainly are. There's some traffic further ahead of them. I don't think that's going to cause them too many issues. As you can see there, talk about a driving experience here at the Red Bull Ring. King of the ring. Who's going to be the king for race one? Well, that's still to be determined here as we take a look at Matt Dinetti. Oh, Matt Dinetti, he's chasing down the new lion, Braden Henderson, in this championship. And this is not going to be the last lap, penultimate lap actually. In fact, through turn one they go. If anything, he looks like he's dropped back a little bit on this occasion, but is he just biding his time? If you're sitting behind the wheel of Matt Dinetti's car, Isaac, where are you looking to size up a move here? You've only got 10 corners to do it. We don't count turn two, we don't talk about that, but where would you be looking to make a move here in the final lap or so of this race one?
Well, I wouldn't be looking to make a move in turn two, that's for sure, Trev, but turn three is a very heavy braking zone. It's going to be tricky for a car like the BMW with such a huge weight difference to the Mercedes, and that's going to be one of my favourite things to talk about all night, is the weight difference of these cars. It's so much harder to pull this car up compared to the other cars with the weight that it's got in it. They can play you an advantage going up the hill though. So I might contradict myself there a little bit and say that maybe turn three could be where he pulls it up because he's got so much more weight. It doesn't take as long going up a hill. You think about what you learnt in high school science, and it's much harder to push things up the hill that are heavy than it is to push things that are lighter up the hill. So the more weight could actually pay him advantage there. I don't think anything downhill like through here, it's going to be really difficult for him to make a move because he's, again, got more weight to pull up, especially into this final corner. He has to brake that a little bit more just to get the car to stop and rotate. But this will be the last lap, so the drivers will come onto their last lap. Now, race control has confirmed this is the last lap of the race. He gets one more shot at this, so if I was Matt Dinetti, I'd be getting a great run out of here. I know that Braden Henderson in the past has compromised his run out of this final corner, but I think he's nailed it this time, Trev. I don't think that Matt Dinetti is going to be close enough, so he's going to have to maybe hope that he can get close enough to pull something off in the final sector.
Well, get ready for a grandstand finish here. Adrenaline GT, round 4 of this championship, first official super sprint round. I don't think, with that gap bang on 1 second, 3, 2, 1, 0, we're out of time. I don't think he's going to get it done unless there's a monumental mistake from this man, Braden Henderson. Oh, some traffic there. One of the Fogarty cars in the way, the McDonald's cars there, but not getting to have an impact on this one. A difficult part of the circuit to come across some traffic on, but I think he's going to do enough. In fact, if anything, Oh, it's closing up. It's 1.2 seconds, but I reckon he's going to get it done here. Braden Henderson is getting close. Let's have a look here at the final couple of corners. He's almost home there. You can see there through the final corner to win race 1 here this evening. Matt Dinetti not too far behind him. James Matchin there through in P3. Matty Simmons there taking P4. What could have been for him? He was, well, struggling there. Ends up P4. And then it's G-Shaw Struick there in P5. P6 for this man, the young man. Takes P6 there in the first of the Porsche cars. Then some big names. The fireworks are going off here. Fleming there, as you can see, taking P7 and the rest of the results. But what happened to finish that class? It's Max Silver getting it done just ahead of Sen and Staley. Unfortunately missed the end of that one, but that is a close battle. 2/10 in the end, Isaac, in the Pro-Am class as we go through there. And it's Tanner crossing the line. Somebody into the wall. Who is that? I don't know who that is, but drama to finish this race. But Tanner comes across the line to take out the AM class, and they're just getting a little bit silly here.
Big incident across the line. They were warned earlier in the week about doing that. That looked like one of the Lamborghinis that went into the wall. And yeah, there was a bit of a mess across the line there with a couple of cars crashing. They were warned about that and told they could be penalised if they were found to be doing that on purpose, because we've had a few drivers that have been injured. It's not any, I shouldn't be laughing. It's not a laughing matter. A few drivers have been injured as a result of being crashed into after the race is finished. So we've warned drivers to be careful about that. But congratulations to Braden Henderson for taking the win in race 1. He is, as it stands at the moment, he is king of the ring. I am keeping track of, for our top 5 drivers, where they sit in terms of points, just so we can get an understanding of who might come away with king of the ring as we leave here tonight. But as it stands at the moment, Braden Henderson, 75 points in the bag for the race win. That puts him at the top of the king of the ring standings at the moment.
Absolutely. Braden Henderson getting it done. 1.2 seconds in the end was the gap. Matty Simmons not too far off a podium finish there as we go down the field. Max Silver and Sen and Staley. They're only 2/10 like we mentioned between those two. And close right throughout the field here this evening. And you can see there Tanner and Stewart, 1, 2, and 3 for Griffin. And I've got to say, we've got a 5 minutes, just letting our viewers know the rundown here this evening. We've got a short 5-minute break, don't we? A chance for the drivers to just freshen up a bit, Isaac, before we get into this second qualifying session. And we'll have a bit of a 5-minute break, a chance for the drivers to just regroup. And that first race was very, very intense indeed. So the drivers, they need a break too, don't they, before we get underway for the second qualifying session here tonight.
Yeah, we'll polish up the cars, fix the damage, and the drivers will go and refuel themselves, have some fluids, get ready to go. They'll give them a short break, and then we'll get straight into qualifying for this second race. So I'm very excited to see what happens. I expect times to tumble. We saw some very fast times in that first quali session, Trev, but I think we'll see even faster times, maybe even a 27 if we're lucky in this next quali session.
Absolutely. As you can see, we're just getting ready for qualifying at 2, but what a tremendous performance there in the Mercedes for Braden Henderson. And he really is the new kid on the block in many respects, but Matt Dinetti ran him so close, didn't he? We saw him managing that gap, but he managed it superbly, Isaac, and did not put a foot wrong and absorbed that pressure like a sponge to take victory. He's one to keep an eye on, isn't he, in the future, and not only in this championship, but in other championships going forward in the world of sim racing.
Yeah, absolutely. Being able to soak up pressure like that is something that cannot be taught. And a lot of sim drivers talk about just how important it is. And you can be the fastest driver in the world, but if you crack under pressure, that's where, you know, you'll come undone and you just won't be able to keep up and be with the best of the best. And being able to do something like for Braden Henderson, he didn't have the fastest lap of the race, but he didn't need it because he was just able to keep his head, keep his cool. I have no doubt he's incredibly sweaty, and he'll definitely need a shower after that race. He's got one more race before he can do that, but he did a brilliant job. He kept his head. It's the same with Matt Donetti. It's a lot of these guys coming in, these young guys, they're fast, they're proving themselves. And we've seen a lot of guys come through that are fast before, but it's just having that patience, that level head, and that ability to just, you know, trust in their lap time, trust in the car, know where their braking marker is and turn in at the right time lap after lap is just really working in their favour.
Absolutely, and you can see on your screen there this current round, of course. Of course, the man alongside me, my co-commentator for this evening, Isaac Fogarty, will be keeping an eye on championship points, and get your calculators out. Of course, the calculators are on our phones now, aren't they? So everything like everything else, but you get what I'm trying to say. But you can see there the details. Of course, we have completed half of the first part of this evening. Of course, we've had our first quali session and our first race. Of course, pit stops not required this evening. It is a sprint race, of course, a sprint round here for round 4 of this season, and fixed weather. Now explain to our wonderful viewers at home, what does fixed weather mean, Isaac? Does it just mean, is it raining? Is it not raining? Is it, do the conditions change at all? Or is it just fixed as in, if it's sunny, it stays dry, no clouds, nothing, and it's going to be a dry race next time out?
So fixed weather, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to run a dry race. We decide, or the admin team decides the week before. Sometimes we look at the real weather. Sometimes we know we might just want to spice it up and present a bit of a challenge. But we decide whether it's going to be a dry race or a wet race. Typically, sprint races will be dry races unless we see that, you know, where we're racing is it's actually raining there, and we want to provide our drivers with a bit of challenge. We haven't had a wet race in AGT before, so that's something we definitely can do if we decide to, but it just means that it's not going to change. So with our 1 hour races, our 90-minute races, our endurance races, the weather is variable. It can change, which means that, you know, you could start the race dry and then 20 minutes later it's raining, you have to come in, put wet tyres on, then 10 minutes later it's dry again, you have to come in and put dries back on. So it takes a little bit of the guesswork out of our 30-minute sprint races. The game does give you a 30-minute forecast as well, so even if we did run fixed weather, drivers would be able to see what the weather is for the entire race. But we just run it fixed, keeps it simple, means that it's just 30 minutes of non-stop action, just pushing as hard as you can, and, you know, we're not worrying about strategy or trying to fix. It's just focused purely on racing, which is something that all these guys love to do.
Absolutely, you can see very sunny, beautiful conditions here for racing at this Red Bull Ring. And I've got to say, what are we expecting here? We're seeing our drivers getting ready for the second qualifying session. And we are green here for the second quali session of the night. And boys, straight back into it. No chance for the drivers to really take a breath, Isaac, as just like that, we're into quali 2 here this evening. And, well, like we said, the advantage, if you have a bad race 1 or a bad quali 1, you can redeem yourself for a second time out here tonight, which is always good.
Yeah, no time to rest on your laurels, as they would say, Trev. The drivers have got to get straight back into it. We've given them 5 minutes to just have a little bit of a recuperation, and now we're going, righto, that's enough. Get back out on track, keep going. But no, there's, again, track position is going to be crucial here. We have 36 cars. Hopefully, from the first session, people have started to learn what's working, what's not working. Maybe made some tweaks to their setup. There's no Parc Ferme in this series, so we'll see a couple cars going off here, there, and everywhere. But yeah, there's just a chance to make adjustments to the car, go back out, try again. Maybe something that didn't work in qualifying might work for you this time. It's later in the day as well. This session's happening at 5 p.m. in the game time, so it's later. The track might be a little bit warmer, but there's also less UV on the circuit because the sun's starting to go down. So a little bit of the heat's coming out of the track, which is good. Bump the pressures up a little bit, get a little bit more grip in the tyre. There's a lot of different things that are going to play a factor in this next 10 minutes.
Absolutely looking forward to it. Hope you are enjoying it at home. I always ask that question to the viewers who they can't talk back, can they? But I'm sure they are enjoying it. As you can see, much later in the day, as Isaac mentioned, there's another yellow flag. We've seen a few of them so far in this Q2 session. No real wind to speak of. Track temperature sitting at 31 degrees. Air temperature on 27. And we've already had the hills being alive with the sound of music. We've had that joke right at the top of our show. Isaac promised, and he indeed delivered. But there's some drivers who, some of the pro guys who didn't have a great race one or quali one, that will be looking to bounce back here. Who are some of the pro guys you can see bouncing back? Of course, we saw the main guys, of course, Matt Donetti right up there as well, in our race winner Braden Henderson. But there were a few pro guys who were lurking around the back of the field and could have been caught up in that big incident as well at the start of race one. But we might get back to that point in a moment, because let's have a look and see who's coming across the line. We're going to see some times here very shortly, and we're expecting to go quicker in this Q2 session. Are we expecting to see anything better than the 28s into the 27s, of course? Are we expecting much? We see track conditions there absolutely optimum, of course. Isaac, are we expecting quicker times here?
Look, the pole time for Q1 was at 28.4. I'm expecting to see much faster times. Nick Carter does a 29.1. That's not entirely representative of what the quality times are going to be. That's just a banker for him at this stage of the race. Not the race, the session. So we'll see a lot more. I definitely think we're going to see faster times. I'm hoping we'll see people like Mark Hurley, Chris Butt. They're going to move up the field. They were the pro drivers that were struggling in that first race. Hopefully they move more towards the front of the field and, you know, get up there with the pro drivers and put some more. I've lost the word I'm looking for, but same with our pro-am drivers. Max Silver, Senan Staley, Adam Joy, both all three inside the top 10 after that first race. Hopefully we can see more drivers. Like Bob Norley got caught up in an incident early in the first race. There was a couple of cars that made contact on the exit of turn 3 and then caused a massive incident along this straight that we can see now on our screens. Caught a few drivers out. Hopefully we get a clean start this time, and a good qualifying position pays dividends today. You can see Chris Butt at the moment sitting in P7, so that's massive for him, because that's he's hugely up towards the front of the field. So many drivers in eSim, or esports I should say, sim racing, and in real life motorsport talk about how it's really easy to be fast when you're at the front of the field, but when you're at the back of the field, you may not necessarily be a slow driver, but with so many cars around you and just trying to work your way through the field, and just how difficult it is to overtake in general, just at every circuit, it's really hard to show you true pace. So qualifying is crucial to be able to unlock the pace in that car. Absolutely crucial.
And you can see Matt Donetti. We've got some familiar faces coming in here. 28.352. It gets me every time. That is quick. That is quick. And Matthew Simmons, wow, with a 28.4. Almost to the top of the timing sheets, but not quite good enough here with a tick under 5 minutes remaining in this quali session. What was it? 25 drivers covered by less than a second. And we're already seeing the top 15, Isaac, here. Same deal again. Just thousandths, milliseconds between them here at the moment. But Matt Donetti and Matt Simmons going toe-to-toe here. No surprises there. It's Matt 1 and Matt 2 here at the moment.
Yeah, and I've heard the pressure is on Matt Donetti. His father-in-law is watching this evening, so there's pressure for him to perform. So putting it on pole, he's doing the good job so far. He's mentioned that he's not quite vibing with his car, and vibing is the word he used. It's not a technical term. Braden Henderson, our last race winner, goes to the top now. That's 300ths clear of Matt Donetti. But Matt Donetti's been talking about how this car is just not where he wants it to be in qualifying, but it's a brilliant race car. So hopefully he can get it even closer towards the front, so he can set himself up to be leading this race, because that car is very quick in race trim.
Absolutely, and guess who has jumped to the top of the timing sheets? Braden Henderson, our winner from race 1. Not by much, Isaac, but it's enough at the moment. Not even a tenth of a second splitting first to third at the moment. 3.5 minutes left in this session. Oh boy, it's going to be very quick indeed. And Max Silver and Senan Staley, well, they're picking up, Isaac, where they left off in race 1. Look at the gap between those two in Pro-Am.
These two are still right by each other. They have not separated. 8th and 9th in this qualifying session so far, which is an improvement. Max was 14th, they were 14th and 15th, so actually qualified next to each other in the last session as well. So these guys have been inseparable in all 3 sessions so far that we have seen today. But we're already a 10th faster, exactly 1/10 faster than what we saw in qualifying 1. And we've got Josh Struick has gone to within 300ths as well, 3800ths, I should say, of Braden Henderson, and he's 8 thousandths off the time of Mazzinetti. So there's currently 8 thousandths between pole or between front row for Josh Struick. So that is very close. 4 cars have beaten the pole time from the last session that we did not that long ago. And we have now what looks like 19 cars all within a second of each other. So still plenty of cars within a second. We've got 2 minutes and 15 seconds to go. Most cars still on the circuit, a couple cars in the lane. Do have time to go back to the lane now, get a fresh set of boots, come back out and set a time again. So we might see a few drivers doing that, but it's about now trying to find a gap. There's a lot of cars going through the final sector. So if you come out now, you've got to stay out of the way to not impede anybody's lap. And you've also got to make sure that you have enough time and space to get around and be clean. This is Bruce Quadrell in 5th place. He's now up the order as well from where he finished last race. He struggled in qualifying in the last race, was 12th, and then just didn't quite have the pace in the race. This is James Machen and Nick Carter in 6th and 7th at the moment. So the Mustang boys struggling a little bit. That's Josh Struick going for pole. He's done a 28.1 to go 1.5 tenths clear of Braden Henderson. So the 33, and we know that the 33 in Formula 1, Max Verstappen, likes to perform well around here. He does like this place, and it seems that that's a common theme for the drivers with 33 on the door.
Absolutely. Don't ask him about the incident, though, post-race, of course. I just want to talk about the race. You know how Max is. He doesn't like talking about... a little got to work on that Max Verstappen impression there. But anyway, look how close it is. Less than a minute to go, Isaac. And it might have been the leader of Monster Energy I had, but I am up and about because with less than a minute remaining, 28.160 is the pole position time. I'm running out of air here as Braden Henderson into P2. Can anyone beat that time of a 28.160? Here's one man that's not. Matt Dinetti in the pits. What the dickens?
Yeah, Matt Dinetti's in the pits, so he's done, which means that he will not improve. He may go backwards potentially because Matt Simmons is pushing to try and improve. We've got Bruce Quadrell, Nick Carter, James Machen, so many cars behind him, all so close at the moment. There's 4 tenths of a second separating the top 8, which is absolutely insane. Josh Struick's still going around as well, so we might have more cars trying to set a lap. As Bruce Quadrell's in the pits, Josh Struick is still going. I believe he's pushing on. He certainly is. Look at that camera shake as he rolls past through turn 2, deep braking up into turn 3. You can brake so late in this car around here. Slightly wide on exit, straddles the sausage curb, but that shouldn't invalidate his lap time. He's going to push on. We are at the end of the session here, so it's now or never for these drivers. Braden Henderson crosses the line, cannot improve. What can Matt Simmons do though?
Let's have a look, Matty Simmons. Where is he? Oh, I think he's done. He's back in the pit lane. No, he's not. He crosses the line. Can't improve. Here's P5th. Oh, here's the young man. Mr. Elzine comes across. That is a terrific effort. First in the Porsche there, and car 232. I'm flicking through the order as we've got a Lambo here coming around the final corner in the Pro class here. Let's have a look across the start-finish line we go. And is this going to see an improvement here for Green across the line? No improvement there. Car number 82, we've got some big players coming across the line here. 82, 98, trying to improve as well. I'm going by numbers here. I think we've got car number 47. And here comes Hutton across the line. What can he do? Let's take a look at this. Down in 27th in the Pro class. Can he improve? Oh, I think he has. He has to end that session. Wow, let's draw breath here. A little bit of drifting action through there. And you can see there, times tumbling big time. And unbelievable. We saw, was it 25 drivers in Q1 covered by a second, and it's only the 24. That's disappointing, Isaac, but still a frenetic, frantic qualifying session here for Q2, and it's just got even quicker, hasn't it, in the second part of the night?
I actually stand corrected. It was 24 drivers in Q1, so the same amount of drivers in Q1 and Q2 are separated by less than a second. So that's absolutely insane. 24 drivers all within a second. I'd love to see a visual representation of that. I do not have the software skills to get a visual representation of that, but I would love to see just all those cars put on a little graphic and just how far apart they are, and especially that pole time. Look at that gap, 0.055. That is 0.05 of a second between first and second, which has to be, when you look at it in a visual representation, absolutely nothing, Trev.
Absolutely. Well, it'd be absolutely nothing. I'm just thinking, if you got one of those, you know, those graphics that we see, we might get our founder and CEO, Mr. George Cook. He's right across that sort of stuff. Maybe we can get something at some point in the season, but that's got to be a matter of centimetres almost, doesn't it, Isaac? If you got the old 30-centimetre ruler out that we used to use in school, certainly I did. But I mean, that has got to be a matter of inches or centimetres, doesn't it, between the cars? As we're just recapping here, we're waiting for the start of race 2. And a 28.160 for Geesh or Struick there in the car number 33. Max Verstappen's number, of course, made famous by him, as you mentioned, Isaac, a man who's had plenty of success around this circuit, of course, before moving to number 1 for the last 4 years at least. But Braden Henderson, less than a tenth there further back to P2. And the interesting part about it is we've got Mustang, Mercedes, Mustang, BMW. We've got 4 constructors inside the top 6. And then first for the Ferraris down there, of course, with Quadrille in P7. And don't forget about Max Silver as well in number 75. Very close there in the Pro-Am class with Silver, Barton and Nicholson. Only a tenth, not even, between those top 3 in the Pro-Am.
Yeah, those guys are absolutely they're so close to each other. It's really inseparable at the moment, and it's blowing my mind just how close these guys are in terms of pace. And we're going to see, hopefully it's not as chaotic start as we head into this second race. Hopefully everyone can get through the first lap cleanly. Again, 36 cars on the grid. It's a lot of cars. So, you know, it's going to take a little bit of common sense from these guys just to navigate in a smart way. But there's big stories up and down the field. Obviously, we'll see a better representation of that once the cars get going in this race and just where everyone shapes out. But I noticed that Josh Green and Chris Butt, the 2 Lamborghini drivers, improving both inside the top 20 following that qualifying session, which is huge. Josh Green was struggling. He was 25th in the first qualifying session, so he was struggling for pace in that first session, and he seems to have found a little bit more of it, and hopefully that can continue into the race.
Absolutely. The drivers just starting to pull away on their formation laps as well. Tanner, Boyd and Stewart as well in the AM class. Can't forget about the AM class, Isaac. Of course, it would be remiss of us to forget about the AM class as well. We love those guys and what they do down there as we get ready once again to get underway on our formation lap at least. Of course, like I mentioned, Tanner there, car number 97, and then Boyd for the Fogarty Motorsport McDonald's entry, BMW, and then Stewart, a man who, well, he might be slipping under the radar, Isaac, but he just gets the job done, doesn't he? And he's right there or thereabouts in terms of the championship. This man playing the long game in the points game.
Yeah, he leads the way, and it's 9 points, so it's a close gap. But he's just sort of chipping away, and he's the quiet assassin, the smiling assassin. He's a very lovely man to talk to, but you know, behind the wheel, he finds pace in places you wouldn't expect, and he's definitely one of my people to watch, one of my drivers to watch out for in terms of this AM Championship this season. Wayne Tanner is another one on pole again. He got the class win in the first race, which means that he most likely will lead the way in this championship coming out of that race, if not very close to. So if he can get another good result here, then he certainly can lead the way in this AM Championship. But Ian Stewart just stays out of trouble. keeps his head, keeps his car going straight, and it just benefits him in the point standings when it comes down to it. Remember, we're going with overall points this season, so there's no individual class points. Wherever you finish in the race is the points you get for both the overall championship and the class championship, which means that if you're an AM driver and you finish 4 or 5 places ahead of the next AM car, there's a huge point swing in your favour just for finishing that far ahead.
Absolutely, it's very, very important, of course. We all know the championship points mean prizes, as they say. But we are almost ready, Isaac. What's better than one race for the evening?
2.
Exactly, and we're about to do just that here. Another 30 minutes of action coming your way. It is Struick on pole position here. Henderson, our race winner from race 1, not too far behind him, but they're just getting everything up to temperature. Machin, Danetti and Simmons. Wow, that's a very handy top 5. Plenty of talent amongst them, and then the young man, of course, Elzine down there in P6, but we're going to stick with the front, of course. We're going to try and get the start of all 3 categories as well, which we got a bit distracted before, but we're going to do that just now. Here we go. We're getting ready to go racing for round 4 of season 2. Get with the program, Trevor, as we go green, green, green.
Green light, green light.
Now away we go here off the line, and Struick makes a good start holding that outside line. Oh, it's not looking so good. And Henderson, Machin, Danetti and Simmons all getting a piece of that action as we go through turn 1, and look at this. Struick has been swapped off the line here, Isaac, as we go through turn 2, approaching turn 3 on this opening lap.
Henderson's done again what he does best. He's round now. Struick facing the wrong way. That's heavy contact with multiple cars. He's been turned by what it looks like to be maybe the number 8 Mercedes, BMW, I should say, Matt Simmons, but there was contact. It was messy through that corner. Multiple cars making contact with Struick as he went through. There'll be heavy damage to the front end of that Mustang, and that is absolutely huge. But Braden Henderson once again manages to pull out the move around the outside, gets the better drive off the corner, and finds his way up into the lead of this race out of the corner. Matt Danetti up into second by look, but look at the lead that Braden Henderson has coming out of turn 8. That is a massive lead, 2.4 seconds. Then Matt Danetti, James Major, Matt Simmons, Adam Elzine, then Cameron Fleming, Aiden Holt, Nick Carter, Bruce Quadrell. Damage to multiple cars up and down the field. Question mark over who is able to keep going. I think Liam Tame as well has damage on his car. There's a Lamborghini with damage. Definitely damage on the car, the number 33 car of Josh Struick, but that will have to be looked at very closely by the stewards.
Absolutely, the stewards are going to be kept very busy indeed post-race here. Wow, it's incredible, isn't it? He just had such a good qualifying session, and it all went wrong, didn't it? As soon as the lights went green, he was under pressure right from ball 1. And then all of a sudden he's facing the wrong way at turn 3, and that's how quick things can go against you in the world of sim racing. It's unpredictable, it's crazy. There can be carnage every now and then as we've got a yellow flag. Car number 56, Liam Tame, is facing the wrong way. What is going on at turn 3 so far?
This has not been the start that Liam Tame would have wanted. That's the second time he's had an incident in 2 laps at that corner. Contact, obviously, with the 33 car, and now he's facing the wrong way. Not sure what happened there, but potentially an incident with maybe a car behind. Obviously, that car is very difficult to pull up into any braking zone at the moment. You'd think it'd be all right going up into the hill with the extra weight, but he's gone off the circuit now. That car looks like it's got a lot of damage, and yeah, he's jumped back to the pit lane. So that's 2 cars in the pit lane now. Liam Tame, and I can't quite make out who the other car is. It is Riley Nicholson in the lane. So Josh Struick has actually continued, which means the damage on that number 33 Mustang must not be too bad.
Well, we've got, I think we're looking at Carter, car number 711, and boy, let's have a look at that. He might need to visit 711 and get some snacks, because he was just camped out there in the middle of the circuit, and he's also in the lane. Wow, pit stops galore. Nicholson also in. Liam Tame there is continuing on, is he? He might be coming into the pits, but that is bad news for CP Motorsports and Liam Tame. We reckon that is he done so far today? In comes Carter Nicholson as well. Tame is nowhere to be seen. The Austrian director, our cameraman here in Austria. Well, the hills are alive with the sound of music, but they're not alive with the sounds of Liam Tame's BMW, unfortunately, Isaac, in the opening laps.
Yeah, we can't find him. Hopefully he's still there and he will come back out on circuit soon enough. But we'll keep on that. We'll get on the director to have a look into where he actually is. But the cameras can't seem to find him. Riley Nicholson in the pit lane with a throttle issue, cannot get the car to accelerate at the moment. So that is a problem that he's having, a technical issue. They're in the pedal box at the moment, his team trying to figure out what's going on there. But Braden Henderson, 3.4 second lead over Martinetti. That is a free kick. That incident at the start, he's just sailed away into the distance. He led the first race and it was pretty close between himself and Martinetti in that first race. You have to admit, it was within about a second the entire race. He's just disappeared into the distance. He's off in the Austrian hillside already. I don't know what's happened to Martinetti. He might be struggling a little bit early on with his race, with the race tyre, maybe trying to save a bit of tyre for later in the race. But he's just pulled about a second in the last two laps as Braden Henderson, and now Martinetti's got James Machin right behind him for company.
Unbelievable. He is dancing around with the Von Trapp family at the moment. He is absolutely on fire here. 3.3 seconds, but James Machin is still right behind Martinetti there. Another Matt Simmons down there in P4. A little bit of damage to the front of that car. It could be merely cosmetic, but here's Elzine, I should say, in P5 there in the Porsche. And really representing Porsche, isn't he here, Isaac? He's there's not too many Porsches out there, and he's well and truly amongst it in the pro class. The 13-year-old as well. Can you believe it? Young and mixing it with these professional guys.
Yeah, he is absolutely quick. He's been putting in the practice this week as well. Just lap after lap, he's been doing his best to make sure that he can beat up the pointy end. He's the only driver, his teammate Daniel Mortimer, not able to make it so far this season. Was supposed to race tonight, but had to pull out last minute due to some other commitments that he had. So it's just a lone Porsche, just running all by himself, but he's doing a great job of representing the brand up in P5. Aiden Holton as well, having a much better race. Don't want to put the commentator's curse on him, but he is running a lot better this race. Obviously had that incident on lap 1 in the first race that put him right down the order, right down the back. P6 this time, and he's doing exactly what he needed to do, which was just bounce back in this second race and get some good points.
Commentator's curse. Get out of here, Isaac. There's no such thing, but he is having a terrific race, and let's put it to the test, Isaac. Not one thing will go wrong for him here in the next 23 minutes. Let's test it out, why don't we? And he continues on, and so does Mr. Cam Fleming. They're P7 for car number 7. I know, I'm scared too. And we see the Ferrari, and with a little bit of damage there, something has been sandblasting at the front of that car. But you can see there, car number 67, very racy in qualifying. And then, of course, Sennett Staley in the Pro-Am class, not quite as close as race 1, but still, the night is only young, Isaac, here for the Pro-Am class at Mr. Staley.
Yeah, and his best friend Max Silva has dropped off down to P19, so I'd say he was one of the cars that got caught up in that first lap incident, that turn 3 incident with Josh Struick. But Sennett Staley doing a great job at the moment. Bruce Quadrille as well, that front end damage, that sandblast look that you can see will definitely be from that turned around Mustang at turn 3 as well. And that car is very aero reliant, so it looks like he's doing okay at the moment, closing up to the back of Cameron Fleming, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's struggling in that middle sector, especially where there's a lot of high speed, well not high speed, but a lot of high load turning corners where that car is particularly strong, because it's not particularly strong in a straight line, the Ferrari, it must be said. The Ferrari engineer is not quite tuning this engine to exactly what it needs to be, but he's got a great exit out of turn 3. In saying that, he's side by side, getting the side draft from Cameron Fleming as they run down towards turn 4. He's going to look to have a move here, a little bit of a touch between the two. Looks up the inside. Cameron Fleming provides him the room. Very nice bit of respect there between the two races. They continue to go side by side, which is a view we see quite often coming out of turn 4 down towards turn 5, and he gets the move done. That is brilliant stuff from Bruce Quadrille up into 7th place, but the question will be is how long can he stay there, because Cameron Fleming, you can get past him, but once you get past him, the eyes go on, and all he wants to do is get back past you. So he'll be seeing red at the moment, Cameron Fleming.
Absolutely, Camp. He's very close, isn't he? So is Staley there as well in the Aston, but you can see coming through the final couple of corners here. And well, catching is one thing, passing is another, as a famous commentator used to say. But you can see Cam Fleming dropping back just a few tenths. That's all though, and just waiting to pounce on Quadrille there once again in the Ferrari. But very clean, very respectful moves, of course, as you'd expect, nothing less from these drivers. What is happening lower down the order? Let's have a look. It is Mr. Boyd leading. Look at this for a battle. Our championship leader in Stewart there. It's only 4 tenths down in the AM class. It is tight down there between Tanner Takacs and Stewart. Boyd also getting amongst it, but very close here in the AM class.
Yeah, this is what we talked about. There is so much room, or there's not a lot of room, I should say, in terms of points between these guys. So Wayne Tanner was qualified above them, but has had an issue, fallen down behind, and now these two are battling it out for what is effectively the class lead, potentially even maybe the championship lead if the points go their way as a result of this. Ian Stewart just doing a great job. I mentioned he just finds a way to just be there. If someone else makes a mistake, he's the one that can capitalise, and that's exactly what he's doing. Even though it's his teammate in Wayne Tanner that has made the mistake, he's there to capitalise, put himself in P2, which means he'll try and shore up that championship lead over both Matt Boyd and Wayne Tanner. He outscored Matt Boyd in the first race. He's currently outscoring Wayne Tanner in this race, and that's exactly what a champion needs to do. Just consistency and just getting the positions and getting the points to put himself in a championship contention.
Ooh, look at this side by side. There's contact. Oh, and a big moment there. BMW getting through there, not something you want to see. And but boy, we love these battles, don't we, right throughout the field. And Matt Donetti and Matt Simmons, couple of Matts going at it again. Look how close it is. Did Simmons make a move on Donetti? But now Donetti wants some of that action back. Isaac, he wants a crack at him.
Yeah, this is happening. Matt Donetti has sized up a move, and he's got back past James Machen. He's up into 2nd place in this race. So this is all going on for our championship leader, and then Matt Simmons in the BCG car looking to get by. The battle of the Matts, you could call it. Have we got any more Matts? Can we invite them into this to get involved? I think this is all we have one Matt. We have Matt Boyd down the order, so maybe we get him up the order to get all 3 Matts in together. They're all in BMWs, so it'll be a nice little battle of the Matts in what we would call equal machinery. But this is really good to watch so far. A championship leader and one of the most experienced guys in the field in Matt Simmons trying to find his way past. This is an absolutely mega battle. These guys were supposed to drive together at the last AusNZ round in Paul Ricard, but it fell through last minute when Matt Donetti had to move house. And that would have been an absolute amazing pairing to see the two Matts paired together, because these guys are hugely quick, Trev, hugely quick.
Absolutely, and boy, whatever house he's moved to hasn't slowed him down too much lifting those packing boxes, because he is just ahead of Matt Simmons. Possibly one of the most experienced sim racing drivers, it has to be said, Isaac, in the world or the universe. There could be a lot of talent out there in the universe. I'm not too sure it's quite big, but if there is any other space extraterrestrials more experienced than Matty Simmons, we don't want to know about him because I love this man, and you know just how much I think of him. But he is getting very, very close here indeed, but he's going to bide his time. He's not going to do anything silly whatsoever. The man who, of course, works for Nissan, 2015 GT Academy champion as well. He's going to bide his time. Is he going to get close? Is he close enough here, Isaac? Not the place to make a move around this circuit.
No, this last sector is very tricky for overtaking. You have to be very bold to make an overtake through here because it's absolutely not the place to do it. I've seen a couple cars make a move in the penultimate corner, but this first sector is where you want to size him up. You can see Matt Simmons, he's sitting right in behind. He's going to have a little bit of a look into turn one, but this is where he wants to get a good run. Have a better exit. You can see how close he is to the back of Martinetti. He wants to hold on to that, have a nice drive off the corner, and then look to make a move up into turn three, flat out through turn two. It's not really even a turn, we've established that. Deep on the brakes, he's not close enough to get the move done. We've got a drive through for Bruce Quadrille. So the 67 car in 7th place has received 3, or that will be 4 track limit warnings, and we're going to drive through for his trouble. So that'll throw him down the order quite a fair way because there's not much separating pretty much that entire mid-pack. You look at that screen from Martinetti all the way back to they're still coming through turn 3. There's nothing between any of them. There's just a train of cars, Trev.
Absolutely, they are so close. You can see on the track map in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, playing along at home, how close they are. Boy, that camera is one where the cars just come at you, don't they? But we love it. But Bruce Quadrille, track limits, I reckon we're hearing, and 30% of your lap is gone. You heard it from Mr. AGT, Isaac Fogarty, the man alongside me here this evening in the commentary box, and he is coming in, wasting no time to serve that penalty. Thank you, race control, just confirming that half the race gone, half still to go. And very clever from Quadrille, serving that drive-through penalty. Where is this going to feed him out? Well, I don't think there's anything good to come of this, but if anything, he served his penalty. He will clear that drive-through, Isaac, but there's a hell of a lot of cars coming through there.
Yeah, well, look at all the cars that are overtaking him. You can just see that entire train has gone through. He's gone from 7th place to well down into the 20s, and that is going to sting. He accelerates now. He'll get away. You can see there's his teammate of Jaden DeWitt coming through turn 1 now. So they're going to come out about side by side. Maybe a couple team orders take place here just to let him go, but he's going to fall in behind there. And we've got a car around, it looks like, at turn 1. We've got yellow flags out. That's the 47 car maybe getting going again. There was a car that was stopped. I couldn't quite see what the number was. I believe it was 47 maybe. And he is waiting down at turn 2 for him to leave. There's another car around at turn 1. It's all happening at the moment. The yellow flag's flying. There's a car stopped on the outside of turn 1 at the moment. I believe that looks like it's 79 maybe of Matt Boyd, which that is huge. And it is Matt Boyd that has stopped down at turn 1. He's now going again. There he is. I can see him going again. And that is huge. And he is lost now. He's now last in class. And he's got a bit of damage on that front end. So it looks like there's been a bit of an incident between himself and someone else at that first corner.
Do you remember that Charles Leclerc video from many years ago in his karting days? Nothing, just an incident. Well, that is a big incident there. And you can see that that bonnet is flapping around on the McDonald's car there, like you know when you get a Big Mac and you finished it and the box is just flapping around there. That's probably the McDonald's theme there, just getting me. But is he going to come into the pits now? That's the big question. Is he going to continue on? 1.4 seconds is the gap. It's going to be more than that. But let's have a look. The two Fogarty cars there running line astern. Is he going to come into the pits? He's 12 minutes left. It's going to be interesting to see what he does. Do you think he's going to come in here? I believe he might be heading that way. No, he's staying out, Isaac, and continuing on in the AM class.
I think that's a smart call. We saw him carrying damage in race 1. Very similar looking damage as well, as we see Andrew Griffin coming into the lane. That might have been one of the other cars that was involved in that incident. But it's very smart to stay out. The car obviously still steers. He's right behind Takax, which is also his teammate. But he can make an overtake, get a podium. This is, speaking of podiums, this is Matt Simmons, still right within touching distance. These guys are basically bumper to bumper, and they have been for the last few laps, trying to find his way past Matt Zanetti, get himself up into the podium place. There's a cheeky flash of the lights there from Matt Zanetti. Not sure who that was to, because it's no one really in direct proximity in front of him. Braden Henderson continues to grow the lead. It's now about 5 seconds to James Machin. And we'll get a read. 4.8 seconds is the gap. Matt Simmons has a little cheeky look coming into turn 3, but he's not close enough. The drive-through for Max Silva as well. So to add insult to injury, the man who qualified inside the top 10, the Pro-Am driver, he's sitting 19th. He's now going to have to serve a drive-through and continue to tumble down the order in this race, which is going to sting. He had a great race in the first race, and I guess, Trev, you can't ask for everything.
Absolutely. Well, you can ask for everything, but you might not get it. As we see Max Silva there just with that drive-through penalty, and if he's wise, he'll come in, serve that penalty. Not that I know too much about. Ooh, was that a green Porsche? Was that our man Elzine? I think it was, having a big moment there. And I think he's managed to keep everything in the right direction there through turn 6. Very easy for the drivers to go wide there, but you can see they're using, that's where the track limits come into play, don't they, Isaac? The drivers, as you'd expect them to, using up literally every centimetre of the black stuff, and sometimes they just venture out too far across the white lines.
Yeah, using all the black stuff, and on some occasions a bit of the painted stuff. I'm not sure how Elzine is doing for track limits. I'd have to say he's probably pretty close the way he's driving this car. They all do their best, as everyone does in motorsport, to exploit the track limits to the best of their ability. I find most of the time I'm trying not to, and I do. But a lot of these drivers just try to, and they don't. So it's pushing these cars to the absolute limit. Aiden Holton sitting 1.6 seconds behind. Adam Elzine now, as a result of that, has dropped off that battle pack. He was quite close, potentially in a position to capitalise if that battle prolonged between the two Matts, Matt squared. Max Silva coming into the lane now to serve his drive-through penalty. Andrew Griffin still in the lane. Nick Carter and Liam Tame also still in the lane and not turning any laps in this race. Wayne Tanner is second in class, but right behind his teammate in Ian Stewart now. So these guys are right behind each other. Look at this, into turn 3. The two Kiwi pit lane Aston Martins are going on. There's a bit of a slowdown there, a bit of a stop. Someone may have had an incident, that's why they had to stop. Not sure what's going on, but that was very lucky to avoid contact.
Yep, I thought oh, there's a Ferrari. Is that Quadrille? It could be someone.
It's DeWitt. It's Jaden DeWitt.
Yeah, DeWitt was off there at Slosgold. I thought my internet had dropped out for a second there. Everything stopped. I almost had to do a double take. But well, are there some team orders going on here with these two? Fernando is faster than you. Confirm you acknowledge Felipe. Felipe, baby, stay cool. I'm sure that Stewart will be staying cool there. And I believe that was DeWitt and these other guys in the pit lane. We can see Nicholson still running, but I think Carter and Liam Tame, their night is done, and they won't score points, will they, Isaac? Let's get the rule book out, because they've surely got to finish a certain percentage of the race, do they not, in the sprint rounds?
So that they actually have to complete 75% race distance to be classified. And there's a bit of a grey area here, because I believe these drivers will try and argue that they have completed 75% of the race distance, but they haven't actually completed any laps on track. They've just sat in the server. So they will actually go down as DNFs in this race. They won't get any points because they have not actually completed any of the actual lap running of this race. If they completed more laps, it's on a case-by-case basis, so the stewards can look at it and say, you know, you completed 7 or 8 laps, like you did complete laps and then you had an issue or something, so we can in fact, you know, give you points for this. But both cars do have the capacity to leave the pit lane and continue lapping. They've just chosen not to, so the stewards will probably look at that and say you can't be classified in this race. So yeah, 75% race distance is required for these drivers, and the time next to them when you put it into the results page will say that they've completed a 30-minute race because they've been in the server while the 30-minute race is happening. They just haven't completed any laps on track, and that's what we look at as well as the time. We look at the lap count.
Absolutely, and that is not great for the CP Motorsports concern there. I'll tell you what, Matty Simmons, the gap's increasing there, and as we see Aiden Holton getting close to the young man in Elzine there. And the Porsche still doing a fantastic job there. Fleming in P7 overall. Then it's Senan Staley, who's done really well, hasn't he? He's about 4 or 5 seconds, roughly 5.5 seconds, isn't he, winning the Pro-Am battle with Sheepers in really the second Mercedes-Benz AMG car out on the circuit. Then Hutton and Burrows is off the track.
Oh,
wow,
no.
This is, we just joined this, he's just made an error there, and he is off the circuit, and he is right in the thick of it there through the middle part of the lap there. Always difficult when you've had it off, Isaac, to find, especially on a shorter circuit, and never easy to try and find the right place to come back on, is it?
No, so tricky around here, just in general, but especially at this circuit, when it's so close, everyone's just sort of line astern, really close with each other. It's hard to find a gap to come back on safely, and he's done a really good job there to get back on the way he has. He hasn't lost too many positions. He's now down in 20th. He was up in 12th, so 8 positions. With how close this field is, it's really easy to lose that many positions and drop off like he has. But he's done a great job. Still cars in front of him, time to move forward, 5 minutes left in this race. Hopefully we can see him continue to do that.
Let's wait and see how he goes further down the field. I reckon we had 36 at the start of the night. We've still got 36 there. And can't see James Barton. No, there he is. I beg your pardon. He's a couple of laps further adrift in car number 91. This is looking close here. I'm not quite sure whether this is for track position. But we've got a couple of Ferraris, a couple of red Ferraris, one with a bit more white on it as James Barton goes down the inside, almost makes contact there through turn 3. So, well, this might not be for position, Isaac, but they're having a great old ding-dong battle here with less than 5 minutes to go. Speaking of Ferraris, let's have a look at this man as we see DeWitt and Sinclair very close here as well. Less than a second is the gap, but where has the time gone, Isaac? It goes quick when you're having fun, we know that. But, well, we've got Q1 out of the way, Quali 1, Race 1, Quali 2, and we're almost through Race 2 here this evening. And just a tick under 2 hours on air this evening. It's been a hell of a night's entertainment, hasn't it? All live and free and exclusive, of course, for round 4 of this championship. It's been a fun night, Isaac, but it's not quite over yet. 4 minutes to go. Anything can happen, but it's looking like a sure thing that this man could get a clean sweep here this evening.
Yeah, this is absolutely mega from Braden Henderson. It's been a brilliant performance. That first race, I thought he drove absolutely brilliantly. He did a great job over Magnetti. This race, he's just dominated from start to finish. A 6.3 second gap back to James Machen, who still has the fastest lap of the race, but that gap has just continued to grow. And despite Machen having the fastest lap of the race, he's not been able to bring himself back up the field. I got a bit scared there as we saw all the cars appear in the pit lane. I thought maybe we had a bit of a server crash, but that is Liam Tame sitting in the pit lane at the moment, all on his own. The directors have finally found his car, and he is still sitting there. So James Machen doing a great job, not too far back to Mazzinetti at the moment. He's reeled him back in. So this is what Mazzinetti does. He saves his tyres, waits till the end of the race, and then he just reels back in his prey, if you want to call it that, to try and make a move. It's half a second with 3 minutes to go in this race. So this is shaping up to be a battle, a key battle here for the second position.
Absolutely, we're getting it to the final countdown here in this race 2. Adrenaline GT, of course, here on Assetto Corsa, and it is a fantastic race we are seeing. Oh, Matt Dinetti, not the guy you want to have behind you with 2 and a bit minutes left after a long evening of sweaty racing. And this has been action-packed round 4 of this championship. The first sprint round, the first official sprint round that we've actually completed there, as there's a yellow flag. Car number 232 is off the circuit, and Green having a big moment there through turn 1. Didn't quite see it. We've caught the end of that, but that is a Lamborghini looking very worse for wear there as he's continued on now. And is he under? He's going to be under pressure here, I think. Let's have a look for Green. I think he's going to be all right there in the pro class. He's got Quadril, of course, after that drive-through penalty, could be chasing him down in the final couple of minutes as we see Takax in the pits. What could this be for? Is he retiring that car? There's no real damage there to speak of. If you could please get inside the mind of this man, what is happening there?
I believe he's having connection issues, so it may potentially have been a disconnection, or he's just lagging so much that he's brought it back to the pit lane. But he has been having connection issues throughout the evening. Only driver that seems to really be having those issues at this stage, touch wood, with a minute and a half to go. But he lives in Hungary, so he's on the other side of the world, and he's racing from Europe, so it's a big ask for his connection to sort of be beamed across the world. So he has a high ping, and sometimes, especially in high load servers like this, it can make him bounce around a bit. So he's made the smart decision to come to the lane. Once it stabilizes a bit, he'll probably come back out to finish the race. But yeah, so that's disappointing for him. He was doing a really good job. Was third in class at one stage, but regardless, he's done a brilliant job. And this man, like, we can't praise him enough, can we? He'll have one more lap to go when he crosses the line, but he's just done a brilliant job as always.
Absolutely, no arguments from me. Team XV, Prima, and you can see Braden Henderson, Pro-Am, not Pro-Am, beg your pardon, Pro Class, of course, there. They finished 6th in Season 1, but boy, oh boy, here in Season 2, he is doing very well. Could he be a name? I'm sure he will be. Big name in the world of sim racing. Across the line he comes, final lap coming up for him. James Matchin, they're taking a bit of an alternative line through that final corner. He's got Matt Donetti for company, and Matt Donetti will not let him rest one little bit, Isaac, on this final lap. Oh, he's getting close. 3, 2, 1, 0. How close is he going to be through turns 2 and 3 here?
Well, the Mustang has the straight line speed advantage. It has less weight. It's my favourite thing to talk about this evening is how much weight this car has. 28 kilos on board. He has a little bit of a look into turn 3. Not quite close enough. If he can get the drive out of here, he could look for a move down into turn 4. It's going to have to be a big ask. That weight might help him run down the hill here. He's going to have to push. He'll be sitting behind the wheel of that BMW, just wheeling it forward. At the moment, he's not close enough again into turn 4. And that's really your last big overtaking opportunity. It might be the penultimate corner into turn 9 if he can make it stick, but it's going to be a big ask from here to get that move done. Absolutely.
Let's wait and see how this one's going to turn out. We can see car number 877 getting very close there to the finish line. Oh, it doesn't feel right, does it? Taking our eyes off this battle. I'm getting excited, but we can see through the final couple of corners. We've got to get to our race leader, don't we? We haven't spoken about him too much. He's gone all Oscar Piastri on us here. Braden Henderson, as he comes across the line to win. Clean sweep for him. Here comes Matchin. Here comes Donetti. Who's it going to be? Toss of the coins. There goes James Matchin and Matt Donetti across the line. So does Matt Simmons, Elzine Holton as well. Better result for him in race 2. Cam Fleming across the line as well. Then it's Senan Staley winning in the Pro-Am class. Fantastic effort from him. It's close there between Hutton and Norley. They share the finish line together. Let's have a look further down the field to this man, Tanner. Well, we saw some team orders here, Isaac. And you can see there it's continuing on. Gray has a 30-second penalty, but we saw some team orders, but Tanner is going to get it done in the AM class here this evening.
Yes, that 30-second penalty for Gray will be due to getting a drive-through penalty that was unserved. So he may have got that at the end on the last lap, and you can't really serve it on the last lap, so you just have to cop the 30-second time penalty that the game gives you. But that's a brilliant job from Wayne Tanner to win 2 out of 2 class races this evening. Absolutely brilliant for his championship, and well done to every driver. Adam Gray drops to 31st in the end with that 30-second penalty. But what a result for Braden Henderson. 2 races tonight, 2 wins, maximum points from this race. You can see they're doing burnouts, and he absolutely deserves it. James Machin in 2nd, Matt Donetti 3rd, cementing his place at the top of the championship. Matt Simmons in 4th, and Adam Elzine 5th. But I have to say, I think without a doubt, Trev, we were looking for the king of the ring tonight, and I have to say without a doubt it's Braden Henderson.
Absolutely, and boy, He's got the knockout blows tonight, that's for sure. There are the results on your screen. Henderson winning, matched it in second. Danetti making him work for it right to the line. Then Staley taking out the Pro-Am class there. Sheeper's good to see him there. Norley as well, your podium in the Pro-Am class, I should say. Then Wayne Tanner as well. Ian Stewart there was second in the AM class, and we've lost those results on the screen. But what a night of racing! What a frenetic, frantic, and hectic evenings racing. These super sprint rounds, they're a new addition, aren't they? Season 2, slightly tweaked format from Season 1. But, boy, if they're anything like that for the rest of the season, the remaining sprint rounds, Isaac, I'm here for it.
Yeah, we did run super sprints in Season 1, but it's, again, a slightly tweaked format in terms of the break and how we run the evening this season. But it's absolutely brilliant racing tonight. I use that term a lot, and I pick myself up a lot on using the word absolutely. But honestly, it couldn't have asked for a more action-packed event. We've never been to the Red Bull Ring before. This is our first time here in the hills of Austria, and it absolutely delivered for all of our drivers, for all of the fans watching at home. It was a brilliant spectacle. Plenty of action for us to keep track of. It felt like those both half-an-hour races went by quite quickly, Trev.
Certainly did, but like we always say, it goes quick when you're having fun, but we hope you have had fun at home, of course. This a broadcast, TrackSpotTV. Time for a revolution in the sim racing world, bringing you all the action here this evening. But just like that, that is round 4 done and dusted, as we are going to start talking. We're going to give a little preview about this one, just getting ready for this one. Round 5, of course, the American Grand Prix, and that is Sunday the 22nd of June. Knockout qualifying on Friday evening, Australian Eastern Time. A 180-minute race, 3 hours, whichever comes first, Isaac. Pit stops will be required for that one. Variable weather, of course, over the course of the endurance round. We're switching it up a bit, Isaac. We're going from the sprint rounds to the first endurance round of the season here in round 5 for the American Grand Prix. Looking forward to that one in a couple of weeks' time. Yeah,
first of our endurance round. So we move into a brand new format for this season we haven't seen yet. So a knockout qualifying on the Friday, and then a 3-hour race around Watkins Glen on the Sunday. And I'm very keen to see that. All our main game drivers pairing up together to form formidable duos. And we'll probably have a few wild cards in there as well, and we've got an Endurance Cup on the line. So not only is the championship going to continue to be decided, we've also got an Endurance Cup, because we have 2 endurance races. So we have the American Grand Prix and then the Belgian Grand Prix later in August. So I'm very excited to see how that all plays out when we get there in just a couple of weeks' time.
It'll be fantastic. Keep your calendars booked. Booked for that. Round 5 of the championship, but that was round 4. That is our lot here this evening for the King of the Ring. One man and one man only, Braden Henderson as well, taking it out at the pointy end of the field. Thank you, Isaac, for joining us on a Friday night. Always a pleasure, mate. All the best for the weekend.
Thank you, Trev. Appreciate you joining me or having me in the commentary box this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure, and have a wonderful weekend to you and also to all our viewers at home.
Absolutely. Long weekend for me too here in Victoria, and of course because of the King's birthday. But that's all we've got time for, ladies and gentlemen. That's a wrap of round 4 of this Adrenaline AGT ACC season. Round 4 done and dusted for Season 2. We'll see you in a couple of weeks' time for the American Grand Prix, the first of the endurance rounds. But for now, it's goodbye. See you next time.
Been trying to change what I've been trying to say. Words don't come straight from my head to my mouth. It's such a shame that it fell out of place. Was never me that was bringing you down. Why we always looking for more? Why we always looking what you wanted.